Welcome back. Nagsorry na ang Larong Volleyball sa Pilipinas Incorporated o LVPI sa pagkaka-snub sa ilang Ateneo star players sa special tryouts para sa national team. Sa isang statement, sinabi ni LVPI na isang clerical at administrative error ang hindi pagkaka-invite kina Marck Espejo, Jia Morado, Tolentino at Maddie Madayag sa nasabing tryouts. Mag-arrange na lang daw ng isa pang tryout para patunayan ng mga hindi napasamang players sa pool na karapat-dapat silang maging miyembro ng national team. Kasama natin ngayong gabi ang volleyball analyst na sina Commissioner Noreen Go at Doc AJ pareha para pag-usapan ang National Volleyball Team Pool. Noreen, Doc AJ, good evening. Welcome to The Score.
Good evening, Anton.
Mainit ang balita ngayon, lalo na sa mundo ng volleyball dito sa Pilipinas. So, I want to get your initial thoughts on this statement issued by the LVPI. Noreen, I'll start with you.
Well, of course, let's start by saying, you know, there are a lot of opinions really on what's going on. We know that there are factions, so we have to take that into consideration. Now, the statement that they issued, they're saying sorry. It's admirable, maybe too late, the hero, but admirable that they address that they made a mistake, and you know, hopefully they can invite nga the players that they think na karapat-dapat. Is it right that there's a special tryouts? Who's to say? Some people say it's good, and some people say it's not, but hopefully they'll be able to iron out and, you know, form the best team possible.
AJ, what was going through your mind when you heard the news?
Well, based on experience dun sa previous SEA Games 2015, which I was a part of, the outrage is not as feisty as ngayon. Before, meron ding opinions on bakit si ganyan ang nandyan sa lineup, bakit wala si ganyan. But it's not as overwhelming as yung naging reaction now. But I understand na eventually the LVPI had to arrange some special tryouts for these outstanding individuals. Ang concern ko lang dyan is hopefully hindi magmukhang yung players who are undergoing the special tryouts, hindi sila magmukhang pa-importante. Kasi medyo ipit din sila in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
Tsaka kailangan natin intindihin na they're in the UAP season right now and they want to maintain their top spot, being that they're at the top of the team standings kasi nga we're talking about the Ateneo players here. Okay, before we talk about what you think should be done here with these tryouts, these special tryouts, I want to get your initial reaction on the pool when the announcement of the members consisting of the pool was announced last Tuesday. What did you think about it, Noreen? Tama ba yung mga napiling manlalaro ng LVPI for the national team?
Well, personally, I saw the list. No?
Yeah.
I watched a video. I saw the list of the women and the men. I feel that there are a lot of strong players. The best, a lot of, you can say the best of the best. No, but yeah, there are notable people that weren't included. But looking at the roster, I feel personally that it's a very strong team. I mean, you have Din Santiago. In the women, some of the women, you have Din and Jaja, Mika Reyes, Eliza Valdez, you know, Fajardo, and to name everybody else. It's a pretty strong roster, and we have to also remind people, it's 24, it will be cut to 12. So it's not yet the final. Now, this is not the team going to the SEA Games. There's going to be 12. So it's a process that we have to respect.
Ikaw naman, Doc AJ, do you like the lineup?
Well, I'm not in a position to say kung tama ba yung selection process, but with regards to our experience also in the last SEA Games, can the coaches put up a good team out of those 24 individuals? Definitely. But will it be the best the country has to offer? Then that's debatable.
Yeah.
So, looking at the initial roster, talagang wow, ang tataas, ang lalaki. But ang challenge dyan is magkakaroon ba ng synergy amongst the players to be internationally competent. So, that's where the challenge is.
Doc AJ, I want to go back to your comment earlier na the reaction of the community was more feisty this time around compared to before. And I think social media has a huge effect, has a huge impact on the way people think nowadays. So how do you think the players can can avoid getting their mind off yung mga sinasabi ng tao sa social media and just zero in on trying to focus on the job, which is to play for flag and country?
Well, with my experience before as a player, the only way you can filter out those opinions is by not dwelling on them eh. But yun nga, when I got invited to play for the national team before, even if I'm already sort of done with my UAAP career na I'm transitioning to my medical practice, ano na lang eh, yung sa akin lang is, okay, I got invited, this is a privilege, okay, I'll drop everything, I'll play for the flag, and I'll just do my best to whatever I can. So if people won't be happy about it, then at least I can tell to myself that I gave it my all, and it's a privilege that I played for the flag.
Now, there's one player na talagang tinarget ng mga netizens, Rosel Baliton, who plays for Coach Francis Vicente as the setter with the University of the East. Coach Francis defended her by saying pinili niya si Rosel because you can't teach height. And when you have Rosel on the team, may advantage na kaagad ang Pilipinas. Pero syempre, yung mga fans ni Jia Morado, who was not included in the pool, were really unhappy with this selection. So as players, how do you deal with that? I can only imagine what Rosel is going through right now. How do you deal with a situation like that?
Well, you just really got to focus on what you're supposed to do. You're there, you didn't beg to be there, you didn't crawl, and say, I want to be here. You were there, you're chosen for whatever reason. A lot of people may not like it, some people might like it, but you can't focus on that. You have to dwell on your job at hand, is to train, give it your all. And if you know that you're actually, a topic that people are already discussing, then you try to prove them otherwise by saying, hey, after a few months of training, I may not make it to the 12, but I'm here and hopefully I can prove all these doubters wrong. I think it's just the way that player should, the mindset of that player at that point in time.
Now, I want to ask another thing because, syempre, pag isa kang player, it's always a dream to play for the national team. And what if you're in a situation na gusto mo maglaro para sa national team, gusto mo mag-tryout, pero hindi ka naman in-invite na mag-tryout? And in this case, like, si Jia has said that if she's invited to play for the national team, she wants to be there. Pero in this case, hindi niya alam na imbitado pala siya sa tryout. So how do you think the process should be? Should the player be given an opportunity to voice out to the coaching staff and say na gusto niya maging bahagi ng national team? Or just wait for a letter if it comes or not?
Well, dyan tayo magkakaroon ng problem kung yung logistics of selecting the players eh. Will there be a tryouts talaga na open to everyone or merong by invitation lang? Kasi what happened 2 years ago is there wasn't really yung talaga open tryouts because of time pressure and kaka-organize lang ng LVPI during that time. So a lot of the players who were included in the team were really handpicked. So a lot for the players part nun, parang maraming invited pero hindi nag-commit. So dun na yung problem nun eh. This time around, there was a tryout, but there are also people who are handpicked. So dun nagkaroon ng problem. Why wasn't it ironed out kung paano yung magiging selection process talaga? So for the succeeding or kung magkakaroon man ng mga other formation of national team, it's better kung talagang well ironed out na alam ng mga players and ng coaches yung selection process.
Ngayon naman, let's try to be more positive. Let's say the coaches stick to their guns, sabihin nila, okay, we will work with this pool. Do you think we can compete na rin sa darating na SEA Games?
We'll give it, I'm sure the players will give it their best, but really with the time that they have to train. I mean, we're talking about going up against national teams that have been training for years, and you're training for 4 months, 5 months?
3 to 4 months.
Let's say. That's not enough. We know that. And we're like, Thailand is already a team that has been competing in the international scene and has been beating big teams, no? So I'm sure we gotta be positive nga. I'm sure they'll give it their all and hopefully we'll win a couple of games. But I think the time, to be honest, is just too short. And that should be something that must be addressed for future selections of teams. You have to give it ample time for the training, the gelling, so we can be contenders. Yeah.
Sinabi nga ni Doc AJ kanina, he joked before we went on air na dapat 2 years ago pa sila nagsimula mag-training para solid na yung chemistry. Let's talk about Marck Espejo for a little bit. Obviously, you want the guy on the team. Coach Sammy Aquilar has said that kasama si Marck sa kanyang wish list. Pero yun nga, hindi siya nakapag-tryout because it just so happened na may laro yung Ateneo the day of the tryout for the men. So, how do we deal with a guy as talented as Marck Espejo not a part of the national pool?
Well, it's definitely a big loss if he won't suit up for the national team because I know the other candidates for the left open position dun sa pool. I've had the player of playing with or against them at some time. But see, what separates Marck from the rest of the pack is that more than his offensive capabilities sa net, is his defensive capabilities sa floor. His passing is impeccable, yung digging niya, and yung experience niya with last SEA Games na kasi Thailand, Myanmar, the teams we were able to play, aggressive servers So, and Marck held his ground in terms of passing and digging. So that's one thing that's really makes him stand out already from the rest of the pack na talagang it's gonna be a big loss if he doesn't suit up.
What about the other players, Noreen, na gusto pang imbitahin ni Coach Francis Vicente for the tryout, the likes of Maddie Madayag, Tolentino? What do you think about that?
I think first and foremost that they have to iron out their process. Okay, given that they already named 24 players, both in the men and the women, and then now they're coming up with where we will have special tryouts. So do everything that you can, iron it out, and hopefully, people like Marck Espejo or Jia Morado can have their shot in playing for the national team. And there's still a selection. We always have to say that from 24 there will be 12. So it's not sure. You still have to put in the hours. You've got to put in the work, to be a part of that 12. So then you'll see who's going to be the best of the best.
So if we had this type of feisty reaction, what more pag sa final 12 na? And maybe that's something we can discuss later on. But Doc AJ, Commissioner Ian, thank you so much for coming here to the Score. Always fun to talk to you guys. I'll see you guys at the UAP matches.
Thanks, Anton.
Hi guys, keep watching The Score for the latest sports updates and don't forget to subscribe to the ABS-CBN Sports in Action YouTube channel.